times than I have, but it's a tradition that is important to all of us, and that's to talk about those we've lost since the last event, whether they be people who came here or people that you all know that were control line flyers and people that we're going to miss, forever. And a couple of days ago, I spoke with Buzz, and we kind of talked about what to do. And fortunately, I think fortunately, Buzz agreed instead of having a sad ceremony, that I think we've all grieved John's loss, and we always will. But we wanted to make this a celebration of his life. So, just I think Mrs. B should go first, and if you have any good stories about a personal experience with John, we'd appreciate if you share that. I guess keep it a little brief. And first, we'll let Buzz talk about her relationship with Mr. B, and I'm sure she has some good stories. But again, this is a celebrate his life, and I'm just fortunate enough to introduce Carl Brodak.
Thank you. I wanted to say before I tell you my favorite memory of flying, that these 3 monuments at some point will be taken down to the museum and placed outside the museum. I thought we were going to do that because the fly-ins weren't going to happen anymore. Silly me, here we are. So anyway,
Thank you.
Anyway, I was thinking about the fly-in and a favorite memory of something that happened. Some of you that have been here 21 years, from way back, remember where my patio is, there was a swimming pool. Okay. Well, that swimming pool came out and we made that patio with the 4 statues. I don't know if you noticed them or not. They have floodlights on them at night. And there are the 4 seasons: spring, fall, winter, and summer. Well, winter is the one closest to where you guys all sit. And that's where the gates are. There's one gate there, and there's one gate up at where you go into the garage. And the gate down below would swing open and hit that statue every time somebody either opened it or it blew open or something. It hit that statue. And I said, John, before the fly-in starts, you have to put a peg or something there to stop that, because it's going to knock the paint off the thing. Okay. So here comes the fly-in, and we still don't have a peg. So I'm thinking, okay, I got a peg, and I went in the house, and I got a rubber band. I went out into the garage, into the apartment where his refrigerator is, and put that peg around his gin bottle. He found the peg. Next day, I had it right there. Don't mess with the man's gin. Okay, Rain, you got something to say?
Yeah.
It's my sister, Rain.
Yay. John had been more than a brother-in-law. I always considered him my brother since the time I was 12 years old. I was in Vermont, and I had had enough after 10 years, and I wanted to come home. I called Buzz one night, and I said, when you come up to visit me in October, do you think you can help me with a U-Haul and pack my stuff up and get home? She goes, sure. About 45 minutes later, my phone rang. I picked it up. It was John. He said, Rain, you want to come home? I'll come get you. And he did. He come and got me and brought me home, and I stayed here until my house was ready. And Buzz and I decided once that we were going to go on diets. Didn't work very well. But so she said, Rain, in the closet, there's a big box of chocolates. So we had the TV on, and I'm standing with my back to the TV, and just as I put this piece of chocolate in my mouth, I thought it was Johnny's. Hey! And I just about choked. It was the TV. Okay, Joe.
1983, we were on a trip overseas, and we went to a little hobby store. It was by an air museum.
What country?
It was in England, and we was looking at the gift shop, and I looked up there, and there's a P-51 Mustang profile. I had no idea. I was 13, and I said, "Pops, what is that?" He goes, "Oh, I used to do that when I was little," and that's what started. We bought that, and we were learning how to fly, and that's what started my dad's passion again. Anyway, we advanced to. He always loved combat, so we advanced to combat. And we at airport in Morgantown asked us to do demonstrations, so we went. I got my plane up in the air. He got his plane up in the air. Within seconds, there was an explosion. You know, all the balsa wood falling to the ground. My dad was like, "What happened?" I said, "I have no idea. I really don't." And these were the days when he used to film movies with film. So I'm just praying. It's like, I hope they didn't get it because I went through his plane. So anyway, he gets the film back, calls me downstairs. He goes, "Joe, I got to show you something." He put on slow motion, frame by frame. You see my plane just right straight through his airplane. he laughed though, and it was just a great time. So. Next.
Whoever.
Well, I remember the first ever contest I entered was here. It was in 2011. I entered Ladies and Youth Basic Flight. It was only the second time I ever came to Brodak. It's the first time I hadn't even learned how to fly yet. So I was so nervous because I couldn't do a proper wing over. I couldn't even come close to doing a loop. I could take off and I could fly sort of level and I could land, and I could do sort of like a climb and dive instead of a wing over. And I just remember I was so nervous, I nosed over in the grass and it stopped my motor. So John came and helped launch my plane for me so that I could get my flight in. And I thought that was just so sweet of him. And I said, thank you very much to him after for that. I just thought that was so nice because like he didn't really know me. He was just like, here's somebody who wants to fly, let's get them in the air.
Just a little one. My mom and dad were huge fans of both Buzz and John. And one of my favorite memories, I used to go to the Toledo RC show every year and help out in the booth and everything like that, and met Joe and little Joe, you know, his son and everything like that. There's a picture in the museum. There's a picture of John with my dad and Jack Sheeks. And I'm in the background kind of looking over my shoulder. I remember when that picture was taken and everything like that. Is three of my favorite people, probably three of your favorite people all together. And that picture means an awful lot to me. And I remember that moment in time doing it. So that's all. I had a blast. We used to have a blast in Toledo.
It's not there anymore, you said, right?
Yeah, it's not there anymore. So. Well, Toledo is
yes.
Speaking, following along with Joe, I remember I lived in, as a young man, I lived in Harrisburg back in the mid 80s, late 80s. And I remember we had a club there and the guy said, have you heard about this guy out in Western Pennsylvania who's reviving Control Line? I said, no, I haven't. And so I wrote to John Brodak and got one of his first catalogs and was really delighted with it, even back then, seeing all the kits in there. And I kept that catalog, and I've gotten most of them since then, and I've ordered out of most of them. And I've got that whole set of catalogs, including the very first one that John did.
I can remember we learned about the flying, well, I did, how to fly a model. And it was in 1999, I read the article about the Brodak flying. I said, and I told my, I said, you know, that would be great to go to. So we came in 1999, and I think the best memories that we remember was his kindness. How he would come down and talk to us all. He made us all feel special. He did make us. At that time, I wouldn't hardly say boo. But I thank God that I read it in the Flying Monitor about it. And we came for 20 straight years. And when we heard that you were going to have it one more time, we're going. Because we loved it so much. And the reason why that we loved it so much, we met so many wonderful people. It was just like coming to a big family reunion. So thank you.
You know, I shouldn't say this, but I don't think that this is the time and place for those kind of comments.
Well, if I had a hammer. Stop it.
I got a couple stories. Most of you know my daughter Christina. She's 37 now. We started coming here. She was a little girl, and I guess it's back around, I'm going to say 98, 99 or something like that. We were in a rain delay as usual with Brodak's. It was pouring. We were under the big tent. Okay. She said, "Dad, can I have the keys? I got to get something out of the truck." "Yeah, here you go." Hour later, she's still not back. Where is she? Well, she went to the back of the truck, got out what she wanted, slipped and fell in the mud in the yard. Okay? We don't know nothing. But Buzz sees this, takes her in the house, gives clothes off, put the clothes in her, washes her, cleans her all up, and she comes back. This is the kind of person we have here. Thank you, Buzz. And I have a story about John, okay? Later, in about 2011, I believe it was, Saturday night after flying's over, we're all sitting in the garage. John leans over to me and says, "We want to come to Christina's wedding." I said, "You got it. Send me an invitation, no problem." That's in June. She got married in October. These people drove 6.5 hours to come to her wedding. That's what kind of people we got. John, Buzz, great people, like family. Thank you very much.
I was afraid she'd get her wedding gown muddy.
Those are my best memories. Absolutely.
Pete, you're up. No. John and I would have a beer or 12. We were working on some of the kits and stuff. So I'd come out around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then he would go in for lunch or dinner, lay down, take his 2-hour nap, and he'd come out in the shop until about 2 o'clock in the morning. So I, instead of driving all the way home, worrying about a DUI, I stayed in a little room over there, and John waddled into the house. There was many a brewski went here at John's. And then when we would go to Toledo with Dennis and those guys, that was always fun. Then Joey and his son came one time, and we put them to work. Oh, they almost died. It was wild. So yeah, and I'd go to Muncie with John all the time, and I'd be out there in the parking lot running his motor and that. He and George would be in there. John would have a little snort of wine. George would have a beer, and I'd be drinking aviation fuel. That's about it.
To the best man I ever knew, John Brodak.
Yeah. I know we've lost a lot of people in the last 3 years. Any of you have any names that you'd like to present to us now?
Jerry Phelps.
Jerry Phelps.
Bill Grandison.
Ah,
Gary Hayjack.
Chip Giordano.
Ed Swarchek, he was part of the Brodak Flying Circus. He just died three weeks ago.
David Adamission, my brother.
Jerry Halp?
Yeah, Jerry Hop. Forgot about him.
Bob Reed?
Alex Diven.
David Bellanzak.
Jim Smith.
Chris Brownhill.
Well, our circle will get smaller. I guess we're gonna have to do this every year.
Listen, thank you all. Thank you for letting us play in your backyard every year. There's no place like it.
Field of Dreams.
Thanks, everybody.
Does anyone need a ride back that way?